So are you shopping for a new graphics card around the $250 to $300 range? You can get a lot for your money right around there. There's a fierce competition taking place between the GTX 1060 6GB versus the RX 480 8GB. But what happens when you throw another card in the mix? Meet the GeForce GTX 1060. Again, only this time it's got 3GB, a little bit less CUDA cores at 1152 versus 1280 of the bigger 6GB brother, but it's got the same 1506 MHz base clock and a 1708 MHz boost clock. The one we're looking at today is the Gaming X variant from MSI. But as you would expect from a board partner, this one's got a custom PCB, an 8-pin PCI Express power slot, and it's got a little extra oomph under the hood at an 1835 boost clock. So what happens when you put another graphics card inside the space that's already got fierce competition? I don't know. Let's find out. So if you found it kind of surprising that the 3GB card with over 100 less CUDA cores and half the VRAM was actually performing just underneath its 6GB bigger brother, then you wouldn't be alone, and actually gave the RX 480 a run for its money, beating it in all DX11 titles. I have Ashes of Singularity back into the lineup because I tweeted that I was having some frustrations with it. I've mentioned it in previous videos that I couldn't get it to work right, and that's because I am a freaking idiot. Every single time, two things were happening. Every single time I loaded a card in there, it was resetting all of its settings back to recommended, and so it was constantly changing things based on the card that was in there. That's a good function to have if you're not trying to benchmark. If you just want to put in the card and play, that's a great thing. But I had to go back and manually set everything, and I was a noob and wasn't doing that. Something else I learned was whenever you launch the game from inside Steam, obviously it gives you an option to run DX11 or 12 at startup. I was selecting 12, obviously. The problem was I also have a desktop shortcut that was loading DX11 and not giving me the option to switch, and I didn't realize it. So that's why I was getting some really sporadic results. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I was like, I'm an idiot, I can't figure this out, and it was making me mad. But regardless, the RX 480 in DX12 is definitely showing a total disregard for NVIDIA, saying we can get just as good performance, if not better, because of the way we handle asynchronous compute. So which card should you buy? Well, I think you have to ask yourself one question. It's not a very easy one to come up with an answer to, but that being, are you gonna play games that are gonna be DX11 dominant, or are you going to bank on the future of gaming, taking advantages of things like Vulkan API and DX12, where the way AMD handles its asynchronous compute shows that there are some massive gains to be had as long as developers are coding for it. That's the gamble, guys, and that's the one I can't answer for you. But I will say I don't feel that this card belongs in this space. The 3GB 1060 with shaved CUDA cores. As far as I'm concerned, this is a GTX 1050. One last thing you might have noticed was I didn't show pricing. And that's because I never showed pricing in the beginning. And then I started showing it, and now I'm doing away with it again because pricing right now on these cards is stupid. It is really stupid. You could buy a $399 1060 right now because they're not available, so pricing is inflated. And the exact same thing is happening with the RX 480. I don't know if there's just that many more people buying graphics cards this time around, or the manufacturers just aren't manufacturing enough of them, but all of these cards are pretty much out of stock, making pricing artificially inflated. So because I could not find a solid baseline price, I just decided I'm gonna show the performance, and you guys have to determine which card is gonna be best for you on pricing, because I'm telling you right now, as somebody who deals with this every day, I'm frustrated with the pricing. I cannot imagine what a first-time buyer or even a newer buyer is going through right now, trying to find the right card based on pricing. Shame on the market. Shame on the artificial inflation, and shame on people who are jacking up these prices trying to take advantage of the limited supply. Yes, guys, I know economic supply and demand, but still. So this is the part where you guys get involved. Sound off in the comments and let me know if you think this card makes sense or if they should have called it a 1050. I think they could have called it a 1050, made it cheaper, and it would have been that much more impressive. But instead it shares a name with its bigger brother that has less CUDA cores and less memory, which I think only causes confusion amongst people that don't think about researching the card and realizing they're actually buying something lesser that shares the same name. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.